Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mr. Travels, and I got my best friend Ryan.
Hey, hey.
And today we have a very, very special guest, Miss Anna. It's our
Hi.
second time being on the show, so we really appreciate you coming back and having some more fun with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me again.
Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. Like you're a citizen now. You can come whenever you want. You can stamp your passport. Bam, you're stamped. You're certified now.
Absolutely.
So how's things been going? I know it's been a couple of months, whatever, but like, did you enjoy your holidays and the New Year's?
Yes, it's a bit different if you live away from your family. So, and also it's been a different kind of holidays this year for everyone since we're all isolated. Um, I guess we're all learning to build new traditions for ourselves. For me, it was definitely reimagining, redefining how I see holidays and what I can do and how I can make my life a bit more interesting and exciting within the confines of my own apartment. But it's good. I like it.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, like I said, I know myself. Yeah, I had a very quiet New Year's. Like I was asleep, so I didn't even see the ball drop. I just woke up and heard fireworks and went right back to sleep. So
Yeah, it was similar for me.
yeah, like wasn't too much to do. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I tried to stay up though. I asked my wife. I said, "Hey, you want to stay up?" She looked like. I mean, she said yeah, but she didn't say yeah with like confidence. So I was like, oh, that looked like you could go either way. So I was like, I'm going to bed then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And Ryan, in your New Year's?
Oh, well, shoot. I did stay up to the ball drop. I barely made it. Like probably like around 11:30 or so, my wife and I started to whip up some Kentucky mules. And once that ball dropped, gave each other a peck, drank the good old Kentucky mule, and I was dead to the world by 12:30, man.
I started looking at it just like it's old people status.
Mm.
I was like, I mean, even if it wasn't COVID, because even, like a year ago, I didn't do anything. I think I was asleep for that one too.
Yeah. The most I've done, like I don't do it every year, but once in a while, well, in the past, I've have gone to church with like maybe my parents or me and my wife will go to church or something like that for the New Year's. But that's been a while now. At least roughly 5 years ago or so.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do that tradition as far as going to church, that New Year's Eve service.
Mm-hmm.
All right, all right, let's get into it. Okay, so going forward with our show for season 2, we're always going to try to start off with an icebreaker, okay? Mm-hmm. So we're going to do one icebreaker question for you. And it is, what's your perfect vacation?
Ooh. Full of unexpected things, I would say that. Because I generally, the way I travel, the way I approach life is that I try not to overplan things, and I have an idea of some structure of my adventure, and then I go into it with an open heart and expect something to happen, a miracle to happen, and basically that's how it happens every time. So my perfect vacation would still be somewhat planned, but mostly filled with new adventures, new unexpected turns. I would say that. I do love Europe, so most likely that would be somewhere in Europe, maybe some castles, maybe somewhere around France.
Okay.
Or England or something like that. And it would probably last for a year, but we're living in a dream world, right?
The vacation turns
to a year.
You're gonna start receiving mail. That's no longer a vacation. Nah, that's more of a I live here now. I'm a resident.
Oh, we can dream, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I wouldn't mind doing that either.
Mm-hmm. But you know what, Preston? What that mindset of her dream vacation sounds like? It sounds like me when it comes to just go by the seat of your pants. No plans. You just So I'm with you, Anna. We got that same mindset. I don't like to go to a vacation with an itinerary. We got to hit point A, B, and C by this time. I'm going on vacation and I'm going to see where the day takes me. That's it.
I love it.
I like to have plans, I don't mind going off the itinerary, if you say so, but I kind of like to have, at least 80% of my trip planned. And then that last 20 is stuff that I might just hear about when I first get there or something like that. Somebody might say, hey, well, did you guys do this? And it might be something I didn't know about. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll go do it. Just something like that. That's how I kind of do things. But that's awesome, though. Hey, a year in France area or England sounds beautiful. Both countries are lovely. I love both of them.
Yes, yes. Well, just to build off of that, I guess you kind of answered, as far as one of the questions I had planned for Your Honor was what type of traveler are you? But I get a sense that, once again, you kind of just see where the day takes you when you travel. Like you said, we all can dream. So with that being said, if you don't mind, I think I'm gonna just get into one of my other ones. Well, actually, we did talk about this a little bit offline, but how many states have you traveled to within United States?
I want to say 4. So we have New York, Washington State, California, Illinois. Have I been anywhere else? Yeah, I haven't seen too many states here yet.
Okay.
It has to change. So yeah, I live in the East Coast. I lived in New York for a little bit, and then I've lived in Los Angeles, and I had the privilege of staying in Seattle for like 6 months. So that's the 3 places where I've kind of been for longer. And then I had a chance to fly to Chicago 2 years ago. It's a beautiful city. I don't recommend going there in winter. You will freeze.
Absolutely not.
Oh, the good old Windy City? Nah.
Yeah, it's a different type of cold.
But I like the word. I like the keyword you said, Anna, which is yet. So she does plan to see more states.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I like to start off with. So are you like what type of like adventures or excursions are you into? Are you into like the skydiving or scuba, snorkeling? What type of some type of adventures and stuff like that, like that you're open to or have done in the past or hope to do?
So the ironic thing is, I have dreamt of doing skydiving since I was 15. I haven't done it still, and for some reason, I've been trying to make it happen for a long time. And every time something comes up, the very last minute, sometimes on the day when I'm supposed to skydive, and it's still not there. But I have done bungee jumping or rope jumping, and I do like extreme sports, but I'm not one of the adrenaline junkies that would completely go wild about that. I love rock climbing. I love being active. I apologize. Well, that was a Freudian slip because I love acting as well. So I wanted to do skydiving this year for my birthday, but hello, COVID. Yeah, it didn't happen. I do admire everyone who actually has the guts to do it. In terms of water sports, for some reason I'm terrified of water, and I think it will be easier for me to jump off an airplane than to actually go underwater, like scuba diving. I guess to each their own.
Yeah. I mean, I like when you said rock climbing, you lost me. I was like, ooh, that sounds like danger. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of like. I don't know too much about rock climbing, but I know it's like what just like freestyle or something like, but without a rope or whatever. Or they got ones with the ropes and all that stuff. I don't know the proper terms, whatever. So, what type of rock climbing like have you done?
Well, I stay on the safer side, so I still have the ropes, and it's the most basic, I would say, kind of rock climbing. You just go outside, you attach your rope at the very top of the rock, and you climb, and that's about it. And then you run on the side of the rock, and you jump like a little crazy monkey. You feel a little bit of a thrill. You feel like you will die of adrenaline, but maybe not. It's usually very beautiful and scenic because you do it somewhere on the ocean side. And you enjoy the view, and you think, well, if I die right now, at least I die in a beautiful place.
Oh man, I hear you. I mean, not to sound too dark or too negative. When I think of mountain climbing, I think of that movie that what he was in. 8.5 hours, I think it's called, where James Franco had to end up like cutting his arm off to escape from being trapped under a rock. It was yeah, James Franco. Yeah, have you ever,
Sure.
yeah, it's a true story. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, I saw that movie and I was like, yeah, I'm good on rock climbing. I don't need to. I'm all right. But so, you know, going back to kind of your answer when it came to, you know, your dream vacation, like to get more in detail, like what type of lodging are you into? Like, for example, are you more into like hotels, hostels, Airbnbs? What type of lodging would Anna prefer when it comes to travel?
Well, hey, you're talking to an actress that doesn't have a fat bank account. So if we're talking about my dream vacation, it would probably be a five-star hotel somewhere in the center of the city with a pool on the top floor and all of that. But the way that Anna travels right now with her actual finances is more like Airbnb and decent hotels that she can afford.
There you go.
So because I'm very adventurous, and to me, I usually travel solo, so I am more flexible in terms of where I can stay, what I can do, and how I can plan my vacation. So usually I try to find Airbnbs that are somewhat representative of the culture where I'm staying. So say if I'm going to Barcelona, I will try to find an apartment that has a little bit of that vibe of the proper Spanish culture. Well, in Barcelona, it's slightly different. It's a Catalanian culture. So I try to find a place that represents the city that I'm visiting, because that kind of gives you the possibility to emerge in the culture. And then it's also usually cheaper than staying in hotels. So if you plan your vacation, I do suggest checking Airbnb and finding a perfect option for you.
Yeah.
But then again, there are different cities. I'm not necessarily a fan of beach vacations and staying somewhere with the pool and, you know, just drinking cocktails on the side. Because I'm more into silly touristy stuff running around Europe, I would suggest finding places that are already kind of putting you into culture.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's smart. And I still have yet to do an Airbnb, but I'm a try. I know Preston's done one. He swears by it, and I'm still the hotel guy when I go. But I'm gonna try. I may try to dabble in the Airbnb space.
Man, I love Airbnb. I only did it once. I did it twice on one vacation, and did it in two different cities in Colombia. And I had such an amazing time. That really opened my eyes to just like we had you know, a 3-bedroom like loft type deal. Everybody had their own personal bathroom. It overlooked like the waterfront. I mean, it was amazing, and it was so much cheaper, like you said, than a hotel. And it was just easier for us to, you know, to hang out in one central location versus saying, "Hey, man, I'll be at your room in 20 minutes." You know, that whole walking down the hallway or catching the elevator because you're on the 3rd floor, I'm on the 2nd floor. Yeah, that, you know, I think that really messes the vibe up if you go with, you know, multiple people. So yeah, it was I had an amazing time. And it gives you a chance to really like a lot of places, you know, you just gotta put like a little deposit down and you just have to pay it off by the time, you know, the trip happens. So
Okay.
yeah, I like Airbnbs. They're nice. I never done one in Europe. I don't know how they would be, but I'm sure it's probably gonna be similar. So.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what are some of your favorite destinations that you have been to?
Paris and Venice.
Mm.
Yeah, I love old cities. Obviously, most old cities in Europe are quite different, but that's what makes them incredibly beautiful and unique. You go somewhere and it's nothing like the other place you just visited. I'm in love with Paris, as I have mentioned previously on this podcast, because I do love French culture of particular period of time, and every time I go there, I go to a lot of places that are associated with artists and writers and all kinds of creatives in history. I do love Venice also because it's so fascinating. And I will say though, my trip to Venice that happened about 7-10 years ago. It wasn't very successful at the beginning of it because we went there and the whole city was flooded, and all of a sudden you're immobilized and you cannot actually go anywhere because there is a ton of water on the street, not just in the canals. So it's a hit and miss. If you decide to go there, do check the weather, but it might be a very exciting one.
Yeah, I like both of them. I like both of them cities. Like I said, I think I need to do more in Paris than I did last time because we just went for a weekend, and I just thought it was overrated. But then everybody said they love Paris so much. I'd be like, I must have did it wrong. So I was like, I need to go back and explore a little bit more. But I love Venice though. Venice was very beautiful. I went like in April, and it was like wasn't kind of pricey as far as doing the gondola rides, and we did a water taxi, not a water taxi, like a water limousine. It was like €100, and I was like, wow. I was like, that's the real price, but it is what it is. So
yeah, I know. My wife and daughter, they went to Paris and in Venice a few years back. I know I told you, Preston, when it was for my daughter's school trip one year. And matter of fact, for a senior, if everything goes well, for her senior trip, if they even have one, I think they're going. It'll be her second time going to France, but not. They swear up and down by it. I unfortunately couldn't get off working time to join them, but hopefully that'll change and I could join them next time they go to Paris.
So
I'll keep fingers crossed that it happens and I hope that you will have a better experience of Paris, because the thing is, you have to get off the beaten path. You have to explore the things that are not necessarily on the tourist guidebook. And I strongly recommend just going to Montmartre. It's a little bit further from the center, but that's where the cultural life was happening in like 19th, 18th century, 19th, 20th century. So there is much more in terms of cultural background, and you can just walk around the streets and explore something new.
Yeah, it's some stuff I want to do. Like they were saying, like like a lot of like back in like the Harlem Renaissance and stuff like that. A lot of Black writers and stuff like that. They moved to like France, Paris or whatever, that area. So I heard they have a lot of, I guess called like Black Paris or something like that. And like James Baldwin is one of my favorite like novelists or whatever. So I definitely want to see where he stayed and things of that nature. So and I also want to see that Moulin Rouge thing. Like, I don't know if it's overrated or not, but I just want to see it just to be like, oh, I did that or I seen that.
Yeah, just check it off the list.
Yeah, the block. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't do it because I had my kids last time. So hopefully next time it just be my wife and I, and then we go shopping or something. Just say, hey, we bought something in Paris.
I hear you. Well, I know, Anna, one of the things that I thought was very humble of you. I remember checking out your IG story, and your only wish for your birthday was for people to donate when it came to the Children's Hospital, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right. So I say that, it seems like you're such a, humble person. You don't ask for much. You want people to give to good causes, not necessarily for your own. So when you have stuff, we have that type of mindset. Like, what can people expect? What other things can people expect from Anna, who comes off in such a giving way? Like, what are some other things people can just expect to see from Anna, just period, in your opinion?
Well, that's a puzzling question.
I know.
It is true what you said, that for the most part, my mindset is that I'm quite a spiritual person, even though I try not to talk about that too much. And I do believe that the more you give, the more you receive. I think that has been the case in my life. I will say that in many ways, I consider myself very lucky, because I've been given some chances that some people never had. Like, even the fact that I won my green card and had a chance to move across the world and start a new life in a new place where I wanted to live since I was little and pursue my career. That's a huge sign of luck. But I think that happened because maybe somewhere along the way I made the right choices. So what you could expect from me is probably me telling you that yeah, let's go do something good for the world, and hopefully something good will happen with us as well along the way. And if I can shamelessly plug in one of those things right now, please, please, please do donate to children's St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital that takes care of the kids that have cancer. They allow them to be treated for free, and I think that is a beautiful thing to actually make happen, because they do need help. And I think when it comes to kids, and it's completely not related to traveling, but sorry, but I'm very passionate about this.
Please.
When it comes to charity and things like that, kids are the least, they're probably the most helpless creatures in the world. Well, because they are born, they don't have the power to decide for themselves whether then they can change, whether they can fight the disease or not. You know, when you're a grown up, you can, it's a sad choice, but you can decide for yourself, okay, do I want to invest into my treatment, or do I want to put that money for my family, whatever. When you're a kid, you're so dependent on everyone else. And that's why, yeah, if you ever go to my IG page, the link is still there in my bio, and you can just press it and help. That's it. The event is over. Let's go back to traveling.
No, that's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Like I said, I mean, we need more people to think about others. I mean, that's just facts across the world, you know, just in general. So yeah, I'm glad you you said that, especially on our podcast. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So like so one of my other questions is I know we talked about this offline, but it was so funny to me. But if you have any other stories to go along with it, hey, please share. I wanted to know, do you have any funny travel stories?
Funny. So here's the thing about me. I don't know why, but usually it's not the funny stuff that happens to me. It's weird stuff.
Okay.
It does happen. I hope I'm not a magnet for some sort of troubles, but every time I go somewhere, something really, really weird happens. I went to Rome. I got soaking wet in the rain, and I decided to go and hide in a restaurant/bar to like get a minute of rest and warm up. And I made friends with a bunch of people, the staff in the bar, and then I saw one of them die. So things like that happen to me.
Whoa, man. Oh man. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm terribly sorry for him. But it doesn't like, it's weird because sometimes I go places and I almost feel like I intuitively find something strange to happen around me, and I don't necessarily try to do that, but at the same time I have such a weird approach to life that I think everything that happens brings a lesson, and I just try to take that lesson and run with it. But there are happier stories. Okay, that there are definitely. My favorite story that I tell everyone, and it doesn't necessarily sound happy along the way, but it does have a good ending. So it has something to do with Paris also.
Okay.
It happened last year. Well, it begins with the fact that I had a terrible, terrible depression, and it's not the fun fact. And I was struggling with that, and I was going in my mind through a list of the things that were making me happy, trying to somehow improve the situation. And every time I did something, it did not bring me joy. And the last thing on my list was going to Paris. And I thought, okay, I will go there for my birthday. And it was not the best time to go, but anyway, I spent a ton of money. I decided to fly my mom to Paris as well, so she could be there with me, and so we could have a fun trip on my birthday, right? And then a lot of things started happening. So right before my trip to Paris, basically minutes before my flight, I broke up with someone who was very important to me, and that I spent 10 hours on the flight crying. If I may suggest to anyone who watches this interview, never, like, if you have watched too many romantic comedies, don't believe them. Never ever break up with someone before you get on the intercontinental flight, because crying makes you dehydrated and flying makes you dehydrated. And then you're stuck in your little seat next to the window. Well, in my case, next to the window. So you cannot actually sneak out and get some water. And it's kind of a trouble to sneak out to the bathroom too. And also in my case, that was brilliant. I had a couple sitting next to me, and it was that classical high school puppies couple of like two teenagers absolutely in love with each other. And here I am choking on my tears, trying to get it together. So it's not as romantic as it's shown in movies. Don't believe those movies. So here we go. I am flying to Paris for my birthday, right? I land there. And as I land there, I find out that the city is going through a transportation strike. So the whole city is completely paralyzed because no public transportation is moving. They stopped the subway, and they had some buses, but all those buses were stuck in traffic jams. And by traffic jams, I mean you're stuck in one place for 3 hours and you're not moving at all.
Oh, see, I go crazy.
Yeah, that's bad.
There you go. But that's just the beginning. Just the beginning. On my so I landed a day before my birthday, and on my actual birthday we had a ton of plans with my mom, and we wanted to hit all the beautiful places, starting with the Eiffel Tower and then going through the whole list of places that I wanted to visit for myself because it's my birthday. Come on, I'm in Paris. So what actually happened is that I spent 3 hours on a bus, stuck in one place, and didn't get there. But here's another thing about that trip. As we came to Paris, instead of the winter wonderland that I was hoping to get because I was there in December, it was raining the whole time. It was raining heavily. It's one of the worst torrential rains in my whole life. And there I am. So on my birthday, we have torrential rain. I'm stuck in a traffic jam. My mom is freaking out because we cannot go and do anything. I have my heart broken. I feel terrified of the whole thing that's happening. And on top of that,
more.
I almost get robbed twice in 24 hours. And the next time it happens, I kick the guy that tries to rob me in his balls. And the second time it happens, I punched the guy twice bigger than me in his face. And I was so high on adrenaline that I looked him in the eye and I said, I dare you. Damn. I was actually ready to fight. So
hey, that's all right.
There is the silver lining to that whole story. So after all of that, by the way, they didn't take any of my stuff. They didn't take my phone because I had to protect my phone. I was there responsible for my mother and myself, and my whole information is on my phone. Like when you travel quite often, you don't even print out your tickets. You have all your reservations and all the information you need on your phone. So if someone steals it, you're screwed. So luckily, nothing bad happened. But obviously, at the end of that day, I was not the happiest girl in the world, and I ran away from the Airbnb that I was renting for me and my mom because I didn't want my mom to see how I was having a breakdown. And in the middle of the night, I decided to run to the top of this hill. If you've ever been in Paris, and especially in Montmartre, there is this hill with a huge cathedral on top of it. It's called Sacré-Cœur Cathedral. So I ran to the top of the hill in the middle of the night, and it's raining and it's terrible. And I sat down on the stairs of the cathedral and I completely broke down. That was one of the worst breakdowns in my whole life. When you just feel like you're shattered. That's it. Like you had your whole list of the things that could make you happy, and every single thing on that list went wrong. And I cried there for like a good hour. And then it's weird. It's one of those moments that completely turn your life around. I looked up and I saw the moon in the sky, and it was actually one of those days when they had some super moon. So I see this huge moon in the middle of the sky, and I see the entire Paris by my feet because I'm on top of a hill. And it's so cinematic and it's so dramatic that at this point you look at your life and you're like, wait a second. My life is completely different than what I imagined it to be. And for me as a screenwriter and an actress, the thought that went through my mind was that this is the most beautiful scene in the movie that I would see, but I am the one writing the script for this movie.
Mhm.
So I have the power to turn it around and do whatever I want with that. And that moment for me, it kind of redefined my life in many ways. I came back to LA and I started changing so many things in my life. And over the last year, I moved to a different place. I joined Screen Actors Guild. I found a new agent. I did so many things that were crucial for me as a person that I kind of count that moment as a complete turning point of my own life. That's why I wanted to tell that story, because I believe that there are moments when the universe kind of opens the doors for you and it says, just walk through it. Walk and you will know what to do with that. And sometimes that moment kind of looks like your life is crumbling around you, but that's because you're meant to walk through the door. Mm-hmm. And so if you ever find yourself in that moment, just take a step. It's going to happen. All the beautiful things are going to happen.
Hey, I appreciate that story. I like that a lot. Also, it just shows the type of character and resiliency you have. And
I have a good punch. Apparently.
I see.
Even though I weigh 100 pounds.
Hey, I want no problems. No problems.
Mm-hmm. So do you? I mean, it's off. Like, do you train? Like, do you have like some fighting skills? Like, do you hit the bag a little bit or something? Or?
Well, I will be honest. Before I moved to America, I had a few lessons of self-defense because I knew I was moving on my own. So I had to think about my own safety. And generally, whatever I do, whenever I travel, I said I travel solo. I am very cautious about my surroundings. Like, I wouldn't say that all I do is walk around and expect some sort of danger. But generally, eventually you build up your instincts to the point that when you see a stranger leaning too close to you somewhere in the store or on the subway or something, you pull away because you already know that they either might be stealing something or it's sort of danger. So I don't train necessarily, but I do take classes of martial arts here and there.
That's just good. Okay.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for you. I'm glad you did.
Thank you.
That was a lot for you to deal with, and like I said, I'm glad you overcame that and look at the positive side of things. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being stuck in the mud or down, just so like that. So I really do admire that because, like I said, we all go through certain things in our lives, and like, hey, at least you got to be in Paris as it life was starting to crumble. Because I'm like, well, it's Paris though. You're in Paris, so. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you had Paris at your feet, the moon, the super moon. Like that's, right. I can only imagine what that would look like, So, like I said, you saw it and was like, wait a minute, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
All this is going on. So yeah, that's beautiful because it could have been worse. Could have been like, damn, I ain't got no money. Right. Man, fucking America. Damn, like, hey, you had your mom, the beautiful city, the church or the cathedral behind you. So yeah, that's wonderful. I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah, and what I liked about that story, this is just my last point about it before we move on. But what I like about it, like, I'm sure you could relate, Preston, but like, sometimes you remember you just had that bad day in school and you just felt like the world was against you and all this other stuff. And then I just remember feeling like that one day. I remember my dad was like, but son, you got a roof over your head. You really got other friends who really like you instead of this one drama thing you're going through. You got food to eat, you're not homeless. And so when you think about how things could be much worse and what unfortunately other people may have to struggle with on a daily basis, it really makes you see the bigger picture. And that's what I liked about your story, Anna.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I had my little, especially being in the military, being in Afghanistan and Iraq or whatever, I'd be like, man, I don't think it can get any worse than what it is. And you always try to look at something more, positive or look something, what I'm saying? So yeah, I can completely understand, that type of, issues or whatever like that and trying to find that silver lining. So like I said, I'm glad that you made it through.
Thank you.
So we're going to move on to a new segment. You are first person that we're going to try this on. We're going to see how this works. Okay. So this segment is pretty much, I don't know the official title, but right now we're going to call it Travel Rapid Fire Questions. All right, you got to choose A or B.
Okay, let's do this.
All right. So you get it probably about, you want the first reactions. You get like 2 or 3 seconds to say A or B, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first one is luxury or budget?
Ugh. Luxury if I can afford it.
Okay, luxury. All right. Train or plane?
Plane.
Plane, okay. Hostel or hotel?
Hotel.
City life or beach?
City. 100%.
Okay. Desert or tropical?
Tropical.
Cold destination or hot destination?
Ooh.
Got it.
Cold, because I want to go to Iceland next.
Iceland.
Okay.
Yeah, hey. I want to go to Iceland too. Okay. Off the beaten path or organized excursion?
Off the beaten.
Off the
100%.
beaten. Okay. So this one might be kind of weird, but it's a photo or video. You like more to taking pictures or like recording?
Photo.
I knew he was gonna say that because I see your Instagram. I'd be like, man, she takes some nice pictures.
Yeah, I'd be like,
I was
those
like,
are
first of all, I was looking, I was like, is she a model? I was like, I don't know what's going on, but her pictures always look like,
crisp.
you know, I don't say staged, but it looks, you know, well put together. It looks beautiful. So yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Solo or group?
Solo or with a good partner in crime.
Okay. Okay, fast food or dining in, like actual like nice, crazy, you know, expensive restaurant.
Well, dining in, but in my case, I would choose a restaurant that has local cuisine. And so I would kind of find something in the middle in my case, because I want to try something specific for this area. So I wouldn't go to Intercontinental Hotel to have a dinner. I would much rather find a little tiny restaurant with a chef that has had this restaurant for 30 years and all the locals know him.
Like a mom and pop type of restaurant. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, that's one of them. All right, well, that was the 10 questions that we have.
Mhm.
Rapid fire. You did very well. Like I said, like I knew you, like I said, and like I said, some of these questions I already knew the answer just by talking today. I was like, oh yeah, I know she's probably gonna say this, or she's probably say that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But yeah, once again, we're very excited. Hopefully 2021 will be much better than 2020. I'm excited, you know, for new things with this podcast. And also I'm very excited just to follow you on, you know, via Instagram and just see where things take you on it. Like I'm really rooting for you. You come off like such a positive, genuine person, someone that I could just root for. And so I'm just wishing all the best from me to you in 2020. There we go.
Thank you so much.
Well, same thing. Like I said, it's one of those things is like, you know, like I said, I never met you in real life and stuff like that, but you just have a genuine, bubbly personality. And it's like, it was kind of like, you know, I don't want to sound mushy or whatever, but it's like, it just sounds, it's like to hear you went through something like that. And it's like to talk to you, like it's our second time talking to you, you always smiling and happy for, you know, so it's like, it was kind of hard to, you know, to hear that you was going through pain like that. And that's one of them things that like, you just never know. And, you know, that's why I always try to like stay positive and talk to people, because you never know what another person is going through, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's just, I'm so glad, like I said, I'm so glad that you made it through. And I feel blessed to even talk to you. You know, I don't know any actors or actresses, you know what I'm saying? So I know zero, you know what I'm saying? So I can't wait to, you know, like I said, I've been wanting to get to California for a long time, and I want to go to California so bad. And, but people just keep deterring me like, oh man, there's nothing to see or nothing to do. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go. I promised myself I gotta go see California one of these days.
Please do come to California. It's absolutely fascinating. It has incredibly beautiful nature. We'll go rock climbing whether you want or not. I will.
Or I just watch you. I can. I'd be like, hey, that's Anna up on that cliff. Like,
sure. You'll be the one holding the rope, making sure that I stay alive.
Yeah, so you go. I can do my part. You know what I'm saying? I can. Hey, I'm totally fine with holding the rope, not climbing. You know. But yeah, I want to say thank you for coming on the show today, and we had a great time. Like I said, anytime you want to come on the show, and you want to tell us some more stories or other places, you know, if you want to talk about the Ukraine, anything you want to talk about, you can just, you know, hit me up in my DMs or whatever, and just say, hey, you know, I want to talk about this, or I got more stuff to talk about. Hey, we're like an open book. Like I said, anybody that's been on our show, you know, we always try to look at them as family and stuff like that. And like, and I was telling Ryan, like this year, I kind of want to, like we're trying to get some merchandise going that I want to give free shirts to people that actually supported us last year. So, you know, like I said, please be on the lookout for that. Like we're going to try, I mean, obviously we're going to, you know, kind of get your size or whatever, but try to get you a shirt and, you know, just stuff like that, just to really say thank you for supporting us. Just by coming on the show, especially 2 times, because you didn't have to do it the first time, but you did. So I really want to say thank you for that.
Yep.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. And every time it's funny because every time I talk to you, I realize that I have a very exciting life, that I have so many things to share. So thank you for inviting me the second time. And I will be back, like a Terminator. I will be back.
I like it.
Okay, you know what? I say my next question for the next time you come on.
Mm-hmm.
I will save it for that. But I want to say thank you, and I guess until next time.
Till the next time.
All right.
Ciao.